Emmanuel in Texas, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan, calling to tell us why we should believe in Christianity.
Yeah, you should believe in Christianity because Jesus Christ rose from the dead, and
Why should we
Gospels
believe
are
that Jesus Christ rose from the dead?
because it's recorded in the Gospels, and the Gospels are historically reliable sources.
Why
No,
should
they're
we
not.
believe that the Gospels are historically reliable sources?
Because they are historically accurate.
Why should we
No, they
believe
aren't.
they are
They're-
historically accurate? No. Make them do it. Don't let them do circular. Make them.
Okay.
Why should we believe Why should we believe they are historically accurate?
Because they get things correct about the environment that they're talking about.
Okay.
For like
So if a
example,
book, so Emmanuel, no, I don't need an example. I've read the Bible. I know it better than you do. Emmanuel, if a book has details in it that are true, does that mean the rest of the book is true?
not necessarily, but
It's not even not necessarily. The answer is no. We're not talking about can. Of course, anything can. We're talking about is the rule that if a book has some true things in it, the rest of the book is true.
No, that's the opposite.
Great. So now that we've established that, let's come back. Why should we believe that just because the Bible, which has some true facts in it, is entirely true?
I didn't say it's entirely true.
Okay, why should we believe that the part of the Bible which says Jesus rose from the dead is true?
Because of historical evidence, like
What
archaeology.
historical evidence? What
Yeah,
archaeology points to
don't-
Jesus Christ raising from the dead?
Yeah, I wanted to expand on Jimmy's question and like separate of the Gospels, like what historical evidence separate of because the Gospels are making the claim. So what historical evidence separate of the Gospels?
They aren't making the claim. Just because it's written in because like if I wrote
They're saying
a book,
the Gospels are saying Jesus. That's a claim.
Right.
They are
So
claiming
Emmanuel,
this thing happened.
Emmanuel, I don't believe the Gospels are
just like
true.
any other-
Hang on,
just like
Emmanuel,
any
Emmanuel,
other
Emmanuel,
thing.
Emmanuel, hang on. I'm going to explain it to you so you can get it. You're going to knock it out of the park. I'm going to make it super easy. I, Jimmy, do not believe the Gospels are true. So you are now going to explain why the Gospels, which contain the resurrection of Jesus Christ, are true. And when you do so, you can't say, because you've already acknowledged, just because it's in a book with some true things, that makes it true. You can't say, well, the Gospels are true because the Gospels say they are true. That's called circular reasoning. So I'm telling you, I don't believe the Gospel. Hang on, I'm almost done, Emmanuel, and I'm going to give you the mic back. I'm telling you, I don't believe the Gospels are true or the story of Jesus Christ's resurrection is true. So what evidence do you have that either or both of them are true?
The Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Right?
And what
Jeremy?
how does the Church of the Holy Sepulchre verify that Jesus Christ raised from the dead?
Not necessarily verified, but it provides evidence which adds to the probability of it likely being
How?
true.
How?
It's archaeological evidence.
And what is the nature of that evidence? Because if I tell you that Buddha is a magic cat, and then I just name for you a church, that doesn't make it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the nature of the evidence?
The Gospels accurately detail a place, the place where Jesus burial.
Okay, Emmanuel, hang on. First of all, are you on speakerphone? Whatever you're on, let's switch, because your mic sounds like your mouth is full of a wet newspaper.
Okay, I'm on my phone.
Can you switch either to speaker or off speaker, and we'll see if it's clearer?
Okay, I'm off speaker now.
This is much better. And in fact, the screener told you to take the phone off speaker, so we wish you would just listen to that from the onset. Okay. You are now saying that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is proof because the Bible describes that area and the biblical description is correct. I don't have a problem with saying the Bible, where it describes a place, is correct. You've already acknowledged that just because something is true in a book, the rest doesn't have to be true, right?
I mean,
So,
I'm talking about the
again,
relevant
where is
factors
the
here.
evidence? Where is the evidence? For example, I believe Paul existed, right? So the Bible is true when it
Why?
says Paul existed, but that does
Why?
not mean anything else in the Bible is true. But there are lots of
Why do you-
contemporary accounts, historical accounts to Paul's existence, as well as a lineage that can be tracked. There's a whole lot outside of the Bible that verifies the existence of Paul. But there isn't
what?
for Jesus. And even if Jesus, the person, existed, Jesus,
There
the
is, though.
magician, the miracle worker, it would not confirm his miracles. So I ask you again, what evidence of the
sure, but-
miraculous resurrection of Jesus Christ do you have?
Like I said, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, like it's an
That
empty
is not
tomb
evidence of
that
Jesus'
yes,
that
it
is not
It's
evidence that
that-
Jesus
archaeological
rose from the
evidence.
dead.
That's
Hold on. That church has
I mean,
no
okay,
archaeological evidence of Jesus' resurrection. They claim to have archaeological evidence of his tomb, which
okay.
I'm
So
going to
what
disagree with as
best
well.
explains the data?
Because what best
What
explains what?
explains the data?
What data?
Why is Jesus' tomb empty?
I don't believe Jesus
Uh,
was buried in a
wait.
tomb.
Yeah, Emmanuel, there's
Why?
multiple. Emmanuel, there are literally multiple reasons that could be. So let's say the Jesus story, the core part that is hang on, Paul, Emmanuel, hang on. Let's say the non-miraculous part of Jesus' story is true. That this preacher existed back then and he taught the things he taught and then he died and he said he was going to rise in 3 days. Well, I can come up with a natural explanation why there's no body in the tomb, because after they killed him, people who wanted to continue to do the Christianity grift moved the body. Or they are wrong about who was supposed to be in that tomb and he was buried elsewhere. Or the Romans took it for fun. I can come up with any natural explanation I can come up with, even silly ones, is still more likely than a supernatural one, because supernatural explanations have never been proven to explain anything. So anything I come up with, Jesus Christ.
Define supernatural, please.
Are you
There's no difference between
sure? It's something which transcends the natural and material world. Something that magic would be an example of supernatural. Miracles would be an example of the supernatural.
I just before we get really quickly, before we get too far from it, I do just want to also point out the only claims that Jesus was buried in a tomb come from the Gospels and then the works of Paul, and there are no historical records from Rome. There's no historical record. Well, the Gospels changed. The Gospels changed what the tomb was. At first, it was just a tomb. Then in later Gospels, it becomes a tomb of a rich man. Then it becomes a tomb guarded by a guard. Then it becomes as we get to John. John describes. Hold on. John describes the tomb as a garden. Like, it does change, and we know that at the time of Jesus. Yes, it does. Those are contradictions.
Those are. It's called adding more things. You can't just say that because.
Wait. The gospel writers, what more things? The gospel writers weren't there. Why are they even adding anything? They weren't there.
How do you know they're not there? How do you know they're not there?
Because the gospel, hold on. All the consensus, even from Christian scholars, is the gospels were written anonymously, secondhand by people who weren't there when Jesus died. Hence why the first gospel isn't written until 40 years after Jesus' death. This is all consensus amongst religious scholars.
Emmanuel, you can respond in just a moment, but I'm going to let you know something. My garage, it's out back behind my house. It's actually my tomb. I died on Wednesday, and I actually resurrected right before this show. Is the fact that my garage is empty evidence that story is true?
I mean, it depends on what best explains the data.
No.
Like if
Yeah,
you're
you're right. You're right.
resurrecting from your tomb,
Emmanuel, hang on. You don't need to go further than that. You're right. What best explains the data? So with the story I just gave you, what best explains the data? That I resurrected or I lied?
you lied to
Great.
mock me
And
or
guess
something
what?
like
The
that. Yeah.
resurrection of Jesus Christ, even if you could prove it was his tomb and it was empty, the data, what we know about the natural world, is better explained by the supposition that somebody has lied than that a person has come back from the dead.
I mean, the problem with that is that one, it doesn't. I can show you why each natural explanation doesn't work, and
Go ahead.
two, like for example, mass hallucinations, those haven't been seen before, at least like
Emmanuel, we don't have a single,
hallucinations.
excuse me, Emmanuel, we don't have a single firsthand account from a single person who met the resurrected Jesus Christ or met Jesus Christ, period.
Again, I can
Hang
get
on,
to that guy's point. You
Emmanuel,
guys are kind
I'm
of
not done.
disconnecting.
I'm not done, Emmanuel. You just resorted to mass hallucinations. So you don't even have that as evidence. We can't even say anyone mass hallucinated because no individual who ever experienced, excuse me, I'm not done. No individual who experienced Jesus firsthand ever wrote about it that we have found at the very least. So you can't resort to that it wasn't mass hallucinations, because I'm not saying mass hallucinations because I don't need to. No one ever met him. The 500 witnesses in the Bible weren't written by 500 witnesses. They were written by one person who said there was 500 witnesses.
Oh my God. Wait, just
go ahead.
Let me, I wasn't talking about the 500 witnesses. I was talking about like the natural, explanation to explain how the, disciples could have, become so compelled to spread the good news of Jesus.
Why did the Jonestowns people become so compelled to kill themselves? Because people will follow anything if they're lost.
People died for Joseph Smith. People died for Muhammad. People have died for popes. None of what you've just described. Just people being activated by fantasies.
No, we have no. I'm just gonna let you know. There are zero written accounts written by eyewitnesses. So I don't know why you keep saying this.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
This is common. This is
again.
No, Emmanuel, you're technically correct. There might be somewhere that book, it has not been made public. You don't have access to a book of a single firsthand account. Christianity doesn't even claim to have one. The Gospels were written after. There are no firsthand accounts of Jesus Christ that we have public access to. I can't say there isn't buried somewhere a book of someone who met Jesus and put his dick in his handholes for all I fucking know. I don't know if that book exists. But we have
Emmanuel, Emmanuel, what is our earliest? What is the earliest known? What is the earliest known written account of Jesus Christ that we have in history? What's the earliest one that we have?
One that mentions Jesus.
What's the earliest written account of Jesus Christ? I don't even need firsthand. What's the earliest written account of Jesus Christ existing?
Paul.
It's the letters of Paul, which were written 20 years after Jesus died. So it can't be a firsthand account.
By a man who never met him.
But he also he gets his information from earlier, individuals.
Why doesn't he name any of those earlier individuals? Why doesn't he name Josephus? Didn't meet Jesus either.
No, he mentions Peter and Jesus' own brother James in Galatians.
Josephus does mention. Josephus does mention Jesus' brother James.
Yeah. I was talking about Paul.
Well, hold on. Wait, because these are two different claims we're making now, right? These are two different claims you're making now, right? Yes, there are. Paul mentions people that knew Jesus directly, and both Paul and Josephus both mentioned that Jesus had a brother named James, right? All of these people are mentioned. This doesn't prove he was resurrected. Yeah, it doesn't mean there was a resurrection.
It doesn't even prove that James met Jesus. Brother of Jesus could have described many people back then who never even met Jesus. Like brother of Mormon, you could use.
Well,
there's no, we have no evidence of that. Any of them. Like, I will admit it, and I think Jimmy agrees with this too. Jesus was probably a real person. Jesus of Nazareth probably really existed. Okay, no, I would say that he meets the burden of proof that any ancient historical figure meets at that point in time, right?
Specifically, historical figures adopted as a historical figure, yeah, sure, but that's because the stakes are much lower, and so with Jesus Christ, it has to be higher since it's. I'm not a mythicist. I just don't think the burden of proof has been met. But to say that
my thing is different.
Jesus Christ has met the burden of proof of being a historical figure the way David has, and there's a bunch of shit that is about David that's definitely not true.
But I would say even if we concede and say Jesus did exist as a real person that walked around, there was some dude named Jesus of Nazareth who walked around, none of this proves the mysticism that you're claiming exists. None of this proves the resurrection. None of this proves.
You're strawmanning.
What you said homie, you said that the reason to believe in Jesus is because of the resurrection. That is the mysticism.
I didn't say you proved it though. I didn't say you proved it. I said it's the best explanation. Stop strawmanning me. I'm very offended.
Well, best explanation for what?
I don't care if you're offended. The best explanation is never magic, Emmanuel.
Great, Emmanuel. You don't care about my feelings, dude. That's
okay.
Emmanuel.
This isn't real anymore.
This is going to be hard for you to hear. I super don't care about your feelings, Emmanuel. I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe Jesus committed any miracles, performed any miracles. You said why you're going to tell us why we should believe in Christianity. Well. Yeah, you're going to have to first hang on. I'm not done, Emmanuel. You first need to know, if you're saying that it is first based on supernatural claims, your first barrier is convince me that anything supernatural is possible.
In a neutral position, miracles are possible. Like miracles are just defined as things that
incorrect.
Things that are,
The neutral position is that miracles are neither possible or impossible. That would be the neutral position. Possibility is a claim. If I say a miracle is a possible explanation, I have lied because you also have to demonstrate possibility. This is what I'm asking you to do.
That's not what possibility means in logic.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
doesn't violate
is absolutely
any
what it means.
Laws of it doesn't violate any laws of logic. It's not.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't contradict anything. It doesn't, like, you can't break the natural laws of the universe because they're descriptive. They're not prescriptive.
Is it possible for me to boil water just by looking at it?
Wait, I don't know why we're taking he's clearly moved into troll territory. I don't know why we're taking this seriously. Like, this is the most obvious. I've checked out of the conversation I've heard from anyone today.
I actually think Emmanuel is dumb.
Me.
I actually think Emmanuel is dumb. Emmanuel, is it possible for me to boil water just by looking at it?
Well, you're not God, so I think it's highly unlikely. See, I don't.
Emmanuel, you said it wouldn't violate logic to accept that. Basically, miracles are a possibility. Logic, excuse me, I'm not done, Emmanuel. And I'm telling you it would, because if you were to adopt that, nothing is impossible. If miracles are on the table, then you cannot say, if I say, is it possible for me to boil this water just by looking at it? You actually cannot say it is not possible. Possibility is a claim. So the neutral position is, if I don't know, miracles are have neither been demonstrated to be impossible or possible.
Yeah, sure, but
okay, sure, but you were wrong. So when you say sure, you are acknowledging that you don't understand logic and that fundamentally it would violate logic to call miracles
possible. It doesn't violate logic.
Yes, it does. And I just explained to you why.
I'm agreeing that
if miracles are possible, then nothing is impossible. So invoking possible and impossible would be meaningless.
Not really. If that depends on your ontology. Like, you're a human, not transcendent.
How do you know that? How do you know that? Wait a second. Excuse me. Who walked on water besides Jesus?
Jesus. Like, no one
Besides
else walked on
Jesus.
water but Jesus.
Who walked on water
one else
besides
but
Jesus?
Jesus.
Do you not know the
Like,
story? Who?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
In the Bible, Jesus walks on water. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Okay. And another individual follows him into the water and also walks on it. At some point, he loses faith and he falls into the water, but first he walks on it. Who was it?
Peter.
Correct.
That was
Peter
only
walked on water. So Peter was a human, not a god, and he performed a miracle, correct?
No, Jesus was just helping him walk on water.
Incorrect.
So he can
That is the
demonstrate
opposite of the meaning of the
lesson.
story. In fact, Peter is given
No,
basically,
that's
if
what
you
Peter
have
was saying.
faith, the whole purpose of the story is if you have faith, you can do miracles. The whole reason he fell in was because his faith wavered. So how do
Yeah,
you
that
know
doesn't mean he
if
was.
miracles are possible? How do you know I don't have enough faith to boil this water in my hand just by looking at it?
Well, because one, you're not a Christian, and two, you're not a God. So
You don't know that.
no.
You literally don't know that I'm not God.
You're
How
right.
do you
I
know
don't
I'm
know
not
that.
God?
It's highly,
Correct. So
it's
in
highly
your world where
unlikely.
you're saying it's not logically contradictory, it is possible that I can boil this water just by looking at it, which basically means, not basically, it does mean you think it is, the neutral position is everything is possible unless demonstrated to be impossible, which is not correct. The neutral position is whether or not I can boil this with water. If I haven't boiled this water just by looking at it, if I've not investigated it at all, I'm neutral. I have not demonstrated it is possible or it is impossible. But now, if I make the claim that I can, I am both claiming that I can boil it and that boiling water with merely your vision is possible. I would have two claims to demonstrate. So when you say that we cannot eliminate the possibility, I haven't eliminated the possibility he resurrected. However, I have also not established that it is possible and therefore will not be on my list of candidate explanations, nor have you demonstrated that resurrection is possible. Therefore, it should not be on your list of candidate explanations.
I mean, why
this is your
should I
last
not
point
say
you got to
it's
make,
not
Emmanuel, because we got to
possible?
go. Excuse me?
Why should I not believe that it's not possible? Like, why should
I told you,
like
hey, Emmanuel,
we should no
go
like,
back and watch this video and rewatch the last 6 minutes, because you just asked a question that only a person who wasn't listening would be capable of. I said it should not be your candidate explanation because it has not yet demonstrated to be possible.
So
if you are going to give
sir.
every candidate explanation,
Very strongmanning me.
okay, you don't know what strawmanning is. Anyway, goodbye, Emmanuel.
Yeah,
we're out of time. You can try again another day. We're out. Emmanuel, we're out of time. You don't know what strawmanning is. Go back and watch the whole thing. You were terrible at this. Goodbye.
If you like this debate and you want to see more debates like this, head over to the Lines page at QAnon Line or Jimmy Snow on the Line at Jimmy Snow.